Anyone who's taken even a few taxi rides in Germany is sure to have ridden in an E-Class Mercedes. As the taxi driver's favorite model, a good many of the more than 13 million E-Classes that Mercedes has sold to date have served as cabs. They have a reputation as being highly robust. Some are even said to have clocked up 700,000 kilometers or more. Change of scenery, the coast of Portugal, where the weather is noticeably warmer and where Mercedes is presenting its new generation E-Class. Car tester Sascha Knapp realizes that many viewers will be reminded of a taxi, and in this model, the driver quickly starts feeling more like a passenger. But the question is, would the driver really want that? Mercedes' W213 series, the latest generation, is a completely new model, not just a facelift. At 4 meters 92, it's even a bit longer than its predecessor. It was launched on the European market with 3 engine options, a 135 kilowatt gasoline-powered and 2 diesel engines. We tested the smaller diesel, the E220D model, with 143 kilowatts of power. It takes 7.3 seconds to hit 100 kilometers per hour from zero, with fuel consumption rated at 4.3 liters per 100 kilometers. The lower RPMs make for less noise and the dual acoustic glass for even less, at extra cost, of course. Also new is the Drive Pilot Assisted Driving System. It doesn't drive the car, but supports the still active driver. Sascha is going to try out the car's semi-autonomous driving system. It's available up to 210 kilometers per hour on the highway, but it's supposed to work for city driving as well. 210 kilometers per hour isn't allowed in Portugal, so he'll start off a bit more leisurely. He pulls this lever on the steering column twice to switch the system on. He can take both feet off the pedals and even let go of the wheel, and it actually stays in the lane on its own. The driver should keep both hands on the wheel. After all, he's in control, not Mercedes. The driver can set the distance to other cars on the road with the same lever. The Drive Pilot uses sensors and cameras to detect road markings and other cars. So even in stop-and-go traffic in town, the Mercedes can pace the car in front as if on an invisible tow line. The system can recognize and keep the lane without markings up to 130 kilometers per hour. Sascha explains that the new Drive Pilot also supports automatic lane changing. This means the driver has the option of changing lanes simply by activating the turn signal lever. All you have to do is hold it for 2 seconds in the direction you want to go, and the car itself carries out the maneuver. The driver may not have even seen the overtaking car, but the Drive Pilot will have already had a fix on it and breaks off its own passing maneuver. And the driver can try again right away by holding the lever for 2 seconds. Another function made possible by the interaction between the traffic sign assist cameras and the Drive Pilot is the Speed Limit Pilot, an idea originally introduced by Ford. The system automatically reads speed limits and reduces the speed if necessary. Sascha quips that one thing this Mercedes probably won't do is pay any speeding tickets the driver might get. If the driver stops reacting at all, the car will sound an alert, quickly bring itself to a stop, and turn the flashers on. But it won't leave the lane by itself because it has no way of knowing what the surface there is like. And if the car started swerving, it could be a real problem. Sascha points out that the Drive Pilot does not come cheap. It runs about 2,800 euros on top of the price of an E-Class. It would take a lot of taxi driving to cover the added cost. In the cabin, a screen resembling an outsized iPhone takes up almost the entire instrument panel. Sasha explains that Mercedes is now moving away from a dash-mounted display to an integrated two-component display, one for the instruments and one for navigation. Both are on a 12.3-inch screen, and it's very tempting to try to adjust something. That only leaves grease spots. The actual switches are built into the steering wheel, plus a touchpad and a dial. But there are so many shiny surfaces on the console that you need a rag handy to wipe the dust and fingerprints away. After a while, that gets to be something of a pain. The bad news is that neither the sat-nav nor the digital displays are standard. The base version comes with the conventional round instruments. It feels like having a tube TV set instead of a flat screen. Daimler's reasoning is that it has to offer a stripped-down base version for the taxi drivers. Sasha observes that no matter who drives this E-Class, there are occasions when you need to take more than one passenger, and then you need space in the back, especially if it's a taxi. But unlike what Sasha was expecting, the back seat doesn't have that much room. The 10th generation may have added 7 centimeters to its wheelbase, but they don't seem to have gone into more legroom. His knees are pressed against the front seats, and the headroom is less than adequate. Sasha sums up saying the new E-Class's active steering takes some getting used to at high speeds. The driver has to build a level of trust in the car. For him personally, the starting price is a bit too steep, especially since it includes none of the high-tech gadgetry. He's hoping the Drive Pilot will eventually find its way into other Mercedes models. Then he might find one right for him.
Und vielleicht ist dann auch ein Modell für mich dabei.